Hi, I'm Guy Briggs, and like Mario, I'm a part-time loser. But I'm not, I'm a long-lost lover. Many years ago, I kind of fell out of love with architecture and became absolutely infatuated with the city. And I've devoted the last 12, 14 years of my life, most of my career really, in designing cities and thinking about cities. And what I'd like to offer, and it kind of engages with the question, what I'd like to offer is some kind of conceptual framework for addressing the aspects that Ian's talking about, that Andrew's talking about, that Gordon's talking about, that Mark was talking about, and that Nadine was talking about. And this is this question of, really, none of us, I think, have really got to grips with what fundamentally is the city all about, and why are we in cities in the first place. Unless we start to engage with that, I think we're not really going to get to grips with how the future of the city is going to map out. I think that we've had kind of elements of it thrown at us. It is the economy stupid, but it's not just the economy. And certainly, we came into cities probably 10,000 years ago to trade, but we didn't just come into cities to trade. It's not just the economy stupid; it's the socio-economy. We came in to engage with one another. There is something about cities that brings people together from all different walks of life that simply isn't possible in non-urban environments. And the question of difference is something that becomes highlighted in the city in a way, but it's something that can be embraced in a city. In a non-urban environment, difference is, in the dire circumstances, a death sentence. And so the question for me is, how do our cities allow us to fulfill the promise that cities offer? Cities are really about opportunity, and one of those factors clearly is public transport, accessibility. If we don't have efficient public transport systems, then cities are not providing the opportunity, they're not fulfilling that promise of opportunity, because they become prohibitive to the majority of people. So there is something about cities that if you start to peel apart various layers, they start to feel like organisms, and there is something about them that they're like ecosystems. And there is this question of, is the city an autonomous, intelligent being? It has been posed before. In certain conceptual senses, yes it is. It's a useful way to think about cities. So if that's the case, how do we measure that? How do we use that as a measure of success? And I think that really what fundamentally sets successful cities apart from less successful ones is their responsiveness to the individual actors and the communities that are on board. And I'd like to kind of propose that as a challenge. How responsive are African cities, how responsive are South African cities to the needs of their inhabitants? And then we could come back to the question of what is the role of architecture within that. I'd suggest that the role is potentially fairly limited. I put that out as a challenge to my fellow architects.